Prominent Ghanaian Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams has backtracked on his controversial statements regarding Islam, apologizing to the Muslim community worldwide and pleading for their forgiveness in the name of Allah. The self-declared father of charismatic Christianity in West Africa and made some damning statements on Islam in an undated sermon posted to social media, provoking anger within the Ghanaian Muslim community. Muslims are not just praying, they are invoking all kinds of entities, the fiery preacher declared on a clip which was posted to YouTube. The coalition of Muslim organizations in Ghana were quick to condemn the sermon, describing it as a bundle of reprehensible fallacies and a vicious misrepresentation of Islamic practice of prayers and worship. In a statement of apology, the Archbishop said, "I want to apologize to you, to all the Muslim community. I never intended to offend or disrespect your faith," the Archbishop stated in another clip posted to YouTube. "I deeply regret what has happened. I see it's a misunderstanding. It will not happen again."
You are welcome to the End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom. What on earth will make an archbishop to go and apologize to the Muslim community for making references about their religious activities while he was preaching on the pulpit? And again, what will make a preacher, a pastor, to go to the LGBT community to go and apologize to them purportedly on the behalf of all the black churches for the hate, in quotes, the church has committed against the LGBT community? Now, these two videos and these two persons, plus others, are the persons who want to consider in this very important video. I'd like you to come up with your thinking cap, because you will only understand what we are doing if you are spiritually inclined and Jesus oriented. So you got to think as a Christian while watching this video. Now, note that compromisers would not understand what we're saying, and those who think that it doesn't matter, those who think that God has modernized, everything is welcome to the body, may not be part of this community where we building. And those that think that all things are permissible in the kingdom of Christ may not understand this. So once again, welcome as we drive along. So I was privileged to have seen these two videos. I saw one first some times ago, even though that the Archbishop incident didn't just happen. But for the fact that it actually did happen, leaves a lot to be worried about. So, in case you have not seen this video before, here is Archbishop Duncan Williams in the midst of imams and Muslims, profusely apologizing to them for making some form of comments about their religion.
But I also want to apologize for the offense it has caused, because that was never my intention. It was never my intention to offend, to disrespect, or to offend your religion or your faith, and I deeply regret what has happened. I see it as a misunderstanding. It won't happen again, and I want to apologize to you and to all the Muslim community that I never intended to offend your faith or to disrespect your faith, because I use your faith and your religion a lot in my preaching as an example of how Christians should follow your examples, your discipline, your commitment, your consistency, your spirituality. It's something that I admire a lot, and I use it, and it's very unfortunate that it has happened this way. So in the name of Allah, the most merciful and gracious one, I ask for your forgiveness and trust that this thing won't happen again, and that hereafter we will meet at a better level. And when I've finished studying my Quran, I will give it to you.
Now, somebody may be asking, what did he actually say? Well, I will show you what he said, and then we'll now take it from there to consider whether what he said was a misrepresentation of facts or an exaggeration of truth. And then that will give you, the room to think whether he did the right thing or not. Now, note that the point of discussion here is not should a Christian apologize if he was in the wrong. No, it is not about the apology. It is about the context and the things that should make a believer, a Christian of that caliber, to take such a step. Now, you may not understand this, but you will see the resultant effect of that, what he did. Now, listen, this was what he said while he was preaching.
Think you stand a chance, because the Muslims are not just praying, they are invoking all kinds of entities. They're dealing with all kinds of forces in Pleiades, in Arturos, in Orion, in Mazarod, the Zodiacs, the powers of the underworld, the water kingdom. They are not just praying, they are dealing with white magic, black magic. They're dealing with different levels and dimensions of witchcraft for total takeover of the world and of our nations.
Okay, so now the question we need to ask, I know what he was trying to do there. I know he was trying to build his church members' consecration and concentration, their mindset on consecration and concentration, and being focused and committed to maybe prayer. I've not seen the full video, but this was the little that I saw. But I think it has the whole of the message embodied. Now, we have seen people who use this illustration enough. They talk about the Muslims praying 5 times a day, and in using that to incite the Christians, a kind of sizing them up and challenging them onto life of prayer. Now, the Muslims will never have anything against that. They cannot say anything against that. But what he spoke here was about witchcraft, their involvement in diabolism. And I guess the heat was on him. He was attacked. Just like last time, a certain pastor talked about the demons in a certain region in Ghana, and that community and the priests of that community gave him ultimatum to come and apologize, without which he would die. That pastor I didn't hear that he did, because if he did, it would also have been on the social media. Now, he didn't come out, he never apologized. I guess that pastor is still alive. I think it was the demons, the shrine in, is it Nogopo village in somewhere in Ghana. So Archbishop Duncan Williams saying this is now, the question you need to ask is, are those things really true? Are they true? Are the Muslims involved in fetishness? Do they get involved in witchcraft? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. So if you think that no is the answer, then going to make that an apology should be justified. But if you think that that they do that, which we know they do. We know they do it. We know also that there are some fake pastors that do, things like that. Now, if he went to apologize to them and using certain words that are very alien to us, right? It is almost saying that we are the same. And it's saying that he draws inspiration from them and, all forms of things. If they are the ones that are inspiring you, Bishop, and the ones that you learn examples from, you take examples from, what happens to, the Bible, where Christ our Lord is the example that, we follow. Now, that is quite descending. It is quite, stooping too low of a bishop of that magnitude, a preacher of that magnitude. To say that I'm disappointed to see this is an understatement, and you would not understand what I'm saying until you see the question that this, young man asked the bishop, which I'm going to amplify voice onto. My name is Ahmed, a concerned Muslim. I do not accept the apology of Duncan Williams. In fact, I see it as a hypocrisy. Here is a big bishop who has come out to deny what he said to his congregation on TV worldwide. Let me ask this question. Are you saying sorry because of the threats you received? Why is it that when trouble or controversy comes, you are quick to abandon your faith? That is why I love my religion. Just listen. We Muslims can die for our faith, but they cannot die for theirs. Our religion does not permit you to say one thing in a moment and then deny its conviction. We stand by our word. Secondly, if it is his God that inspires Duncan Williams to preach, are we saying that God makes mistakes? Does it mean you just made a mistake that day in church? What of all the other days you have been preaching? Can we say there are more mistakes in the name of God? Are you saying that you preach is not from Jesus Christ, that what you preach is not from Jesus Christ? You begged us in the name of Allah.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful and gracious one, I ask for your forgiveness and trust that this thing will happen again.
Sounds like you will soon convert to Islam. I know many American preachers used to go to this Bishop, Paula White, T.D. Jakes, and others. We are waiting to hear the same thing from them. They are not serious. That's why Islam is the best. We love Muhammad. Even now, so I'm stopping this here, but then that is where my question is that will lead us to the other video of Jamal Bryant. That man, not really because of his lifestyle. I don't know so much about his lifestyle, but the things about him that I have seen and the kind of preaching, that things that come out of his mouth in the name of preaching, quite disappointing. Now, so what I'm looking at here is actually conviction. You see the challenge that young man threw at Bishop T.D. Jakes. Conviction. You see, respectfully speaking, I'm not saying any other thing, maybe in order to question the character of Archbishop Duncan Williams. But if we must be sincere, you can tell that from the write-up that I read out to you, actually questioning some things about the characteristics of God and the sincerity of the bishop, would understand that that apology, did more harm to our faith than the good that he actually wanted to portray. Now, I can understand that somebody may be of the opinion that Archbishop Duncan Williams is a very big figure in Ghana. He's like a father figure. Even politicians also come to his church. Like in that video you saw, that a certain president of Ghana, was also said to be taking counsel from him. So he probably, maybe that was what kind of formed his opinion or made him to decide to go and apologize so that he will not be seen to be partisan. But then sometimes I wonder how politically correct and societally correct we can be as Christians. I've said that it is better we stay in our confines than to make statements that we cannot verify. But asking me, if those things he said were correct, of course, the people themselves know that what he said, happens to be the correct thing, except if the practice of Islam in Ghana is different from what we have around us here, and most especially in the West, because I have lived in the West, almost all of my life. So we have seen certain things to, cite here. And that's not even exonerating some dubious pastors too, because this thing is not just only about the Muslims. It is also about those who are fake and false amongst us. They also do it. But we're not focusing on that aspect. We are actually looking at the choice of words as well that he used while speaking to them, his admiration of their ways. If the admiration is just about their commitment to what they do, well, one can understand. But that should not be the source of our inspiration. Like I said before, Jesus and his word should be enough. We can find enough Jesus in the Bible to use and challenge ourselves than to, bringing in things that may not actually build us up rightly. I don't know who has been challenged by these things that we bandy about, telling how much they pray and fast 5 times. I don't know who has been actually influenced by that. Maybe there are persons who have been influenced by that. All I'm saying here is that there must be a line drawn. Even when making such apologies, there are some words that must not be used. Just going extra mile himself to excite the people. Not, like I said, not just the apology, but the certain words that he used. He admired the ways of the Muslims and then begged them in the name of Allah, even though that, from what I have gathered from the, Arab-speaking people, Allah is just God, and that is only one word that they have for God. Now, just like the English word for God is God, but then you have S for small gods, So, and the same thing also in my language, we have Chi, and then Shuku. You understand? So that is what I understand about Allah. But for him, to be that desperate in wanting their approval and their forgiveness leaves a lot to be questioned. And Jamal Bryant went to the LGBT community to go and apologize to them on behalf of the Black church community.
I am here because the Black church owes this community an apology. And I wanted to come tonight, not just as pastor of New Birth. I wanted to come for the pastors who have hurt you, for the pastors who did not exercise Christ-like compassion. I've gone around the world fighting for Trayvon Martin, for Freddie Gray, for Michael Brown, and in my pulpit, I committed hate crimes. And I needed to come for the blood that drips off my hands.
Your acknowledgement, your humility, and the integrity that you have displayed in this moment means more than you could ever imagine.
So this is horrible and this is terrible. Now, for doing this, then it means that he is not convinced about the Bible. He's not convinced about the writings of the Bible. He's not convinced. And, people do this kind of a thing for acceptance, to be accepted. It gives, a lot of reason for anyone that questions his own congregation, how sane and how clean his own congregation and his own life, is. It gives room for that to happen. When a pastor should go and apologize, are you apologizing that the Bible is wrong and these people are right? Or you are apologizing that people should not stand by the conviction of their faith, and you are going on the behalf of the Black church as who? As their father or as their patron, as what? I do not understand who appointed him to go there. Now it is very, very disturbing, and oh my God. But thank God that the so-called Black church community, when I heard him make that statement to the Black church, I began to question his sanity, because in Christ Jesus, there is no black, there is no white. In Christ Jesus, there is no race. We are all the same thing. And I do not think that it is only the Black people or the Black Christians that are against the LGBT, not the LGBT people now, but their stand on certain things about life. I don't think it is only the Black people that are speaking out against such life, against such things that they believe in. And I don't think that it is only the Black people that are also involved in homosexuality and lesbianism and what have you. Now, it is a mixture of races, the whites and the blacks. So why would he be so particular about the Black church? So somehow you want to question if he's sane at all, if he is normal, if he's all right. But then some Black preachers have responded I'll just play the response of one of them, Bishop Wooden, who we know is always very vocal and does not keep quiet in the face of all these things, reacted and rebuked Jamal Bryant.
Pastor Jamal Bryant, he went and visited a LGBTQ affirming church. That is an oxymoronic statement if there has ever been one. There are no teachings of Christ that endorses homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, or any of those things. So then how can you be an LGBTQ church? So he goes to that gathering place. He said that he wanted to apologize on behalf of pastors who may have hurt them.
I am here because the black church owes this community an apology. And I wanted to come tonight, not just as pastor of New Birth. I wanted to come for the pastors who have hurt you.
Stop right there and see enough. The zebra colored coat and the next guy, I guess they're married to each other. And so he's down there apologizing on behalf of pastors. You do not speak for me. You do not speak for us. There's something wrong with Atlanta. Lord have mercy. We got to pray against that principality that's set over that city. And you young men, I hope you saw how them young sister boys were shouting. So you know not to shout like that. Lest I come and correct you in the middle of your dance. Hold it. Let me show you how to shout right. Y'all don't like me today. Not only that, but show where he teaches another gospel.
Stuff that was applicable for your grandmother means nothing to you. For me to tell 16-year-olds to be celibate is one thing. A 37-year-old who's used to getting some, I need a different kind of gospel.
All right, stop
so
right
the
there.
Ain't
Just stop right there. Right there. The first lie he told was that what was true for one generation is not true for another. When the Bible says God's truth endureth to all generations. Number one, God's truth. Psalms 100 and verse 5, the last clause, endureth to all generations. So what was true yesterday is true today. Now, I do give him credit for telling the truth. He said, that's another gospel. Now, let's give him a hand, because that's true, because that ain't the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's some made up junk. And Paul said that if they come any other way with another gospel, Paul said it is not the gospel. The true gospel teaches everybody to live holy, to live right. He has a tremendous congregation who amens all that stuff. Same preacher who said his church will use the property to grow cannabis. These things we can't unite. You can't say, well, he's a brother and I'm a brother, man, and two brothers ought to work together. Come with brothers, brother. Come on, brother, man. Brother, nothing. We're not brothers in that regard. No, ain't no kin to you at all. We ain't got nothing in common. Not at all. Because that's not right. This is the same preacher one Sunday, while preaching in favor of a woman's right to choose. On that same Sunday, they had a christening, a child dedicating, and people brought but the preacher just got through preaching. You gonna let those hands dedicate your child? See, it's things like this that you don't want to have to do. But here's the problem. And I don't know what it's like but when you are for the leader to say nothing, indifference is an endorsement. The assumption is if we don't say anything about it, then we go along with it. Well, I don't want nobody to misunderstand Patrick Wooden. Patrick Wooden doesn't go along with that at all because it's not Bible. Even though God is calling for you in the body, but you can't just have unity. It has to be unity built on truth.
Anyway, so thank you very much. That was a video there. We want to read your comments in the comment section. Tell us what you think about it. But were the two preachers, were they right, to apologize for something that is obvious? Are we not supposed to call spade a spade anymore? There was a video I made here, but it is for members alone, where an Islamic cleric met with a mad woman on the street. Don't know if it was during the time of COVID, when the street was virtually empty. Looked around, didn't see anybody, slept with a woman, brought out a fetish cloth from his pocket, cleaned the woman's body, and wrapped it and ran away. And I don't know how to classify people these days, because today you will see somebody is drowning or fire is burning someone. Instead of somebody by his side to help and bring fire to bring water and douse the fire, or to jump into the water to rescue the one that is drowning, somebody will bring out his phone and will begin to film. And that is the wickedness of the social media era. The other day we were traveling. A man was driving his boss's wife and kids home, and he got to a very wrong place. It was raining, a very bad place, and didn't drive well. Now, that place was very bad. His vehicle veered off the road and was headed into a ditch. Now, they managed to save the child that was at the front seat. They brought her out. But the wife of the owner of the vehicle and her son were at the back of the vehicle. And the vehicle was about going inside the ditch with the back. Now, good Samaritans, everybody came down and were looking for how to bring them out. Somebody brought seat belts, from the car, an old seat belt tied to the front bumper of the vehicle in order for it to be pulled. But the thing was cutting. Persons were filming and sending this on their social media platforms just to get views and likes and probably whatever they will gain from it. Isn't that wickedness? When lives were at stake, we got there and needed to stop a trailer. Stopped a trailer, and the trailer had a stronger rope, which they gave to us. We tied to the vehicle and tied to the trailer, and in one effort, the trailer dragged the car out. Toyota 4Runner. And what I'm saying is that this is the time of social media, and people don't so much care, but we care. God bless you. I will be seeing you in the next video. Then, from me to you. Now, why I was saying that was that instead of these persons, the man and the female voice I was hearing, to come down and challenge the man, they were particularly interested in filming the man doing the thing and posting it on social media. Terrible, terrible people. See you in the next video. Till then, from me to you. Shalom.